Hello there and welcome to the Star Wars Showcase YouTube channel. Today I am very pleased to share with you a couple of tips and tricks for making your very own Black Series Kelleran Beck. Let's get into it. Now this is a relatively simple project utilizing our existing Black Series Mace Windu as well as some 3D printed parts, but is also a fantastic way to further immortalize AHMED Best, who is best known for originally playing Jar Jar Binks in The Phantom Menace, and following a long period of time where he struggled with much of the fan backlash and a lot of the cruel things that were said about his performance, has kind of come back and revitalized himself within the Star Wars universe, playing a Jedi Master known as Kelleran Beck. So as I mentioned earlier, the parts and pieces for this particular project are going to include our basic Black Series Mace Windu, as well as some 3D printed parts which I sourced from a awesome company known as Syndicate Customs, where they actually provided a painted head sculpt, as well as the robes that are actually going to slip over Mace's existing body to create the unique look that Kelleran has. I've also gotten my hands on a lightsaber from Replacement Sabers on Etsy, who does a lot of 3D printing for very specific lightsabers, so make sure to check them out if you're looking for very specific characters. But to provide you with an overview of how things come together, Kelleran is essentially the Black Series Mace Windu body. You will take the custom 3D printed robe piece and actually just squeeze it right over the top of his head, and then you will affix the head and add the lightsaber, a little bit of paint work on these robes to kind of match that unique color that Kelleran has, and that is in essence this project here. So relatively easy in terms of assembly. And I'll provide some instructions down in the description below just to give you that kind of step-by-step play-by-play. But I think things come together really nicely here. As you can see from this side angle, there's kind of that dual layer of robes as we have our 3D printed part, which has a little bit of flexibility to it affixed over, but it has been custom fit to that Black Series Mace Windu body, meaning things fit pretty snugly and provide a much more natural look for the character here. I also got to do some kind of fun paint work around his collar with a little bit of that gold rectangle work, and you can see there that the paint job that Syndicate Customs did with our head sculpt is absolutely fantastic. The lightsaber here is one that I painted up, and Replacement Sabers does provide you with a blade. You can see that it's got a little peg to fit in, and I've done some paint work of my own to match up with Kelleran's unique style there. Is one call out, the blade itself doesn't fit 100% in there. I think you could Dremel it to get a little bit more of a clean fit, but for me, I think it fits pretty nicely, so I'm just kind of using it as you see here in the video. Now for the lightsaber paint job, I did make sure to go back with some varnish over the paint job that I had done, just to ensure that as that lightsaber goes in and out of his hands, that paint isn't either smudging or, chipping away entirely. So with all of your painted projects, like I'll detail below, make sure you are using either a sealant, like a spray-on varnish, or something that you can paint on, just to make sure that your hard work isn't getting smudged off as you continue to handle the figure. In terms of total time commitment, I'll say this project probably took me about 2 to 3 hours. The paint job, as you can see, is relatively straightforward as it's just one color. And to get this kind of yellow, tannish sort of hue, I combined both a mustard yellow as well as this skeleton bone tan, which is one of my favorite. And equal parts of that mixed together gets us this kind of nice, very Jedi, light brown, yellowish sort of look. So that is a quick rundown of Kelleran here, who we have seen now in a couple of different Star Wars projects, and who I really just like as a character. I think it's a really triumphant return for AHMED Best, a way for him to kind of exorcise the ghosts of the past, and I think a reminder for Star Wars fans of the importance and the impact of our words, as AHMED Best himself described himself being at a very, very low point and considering taking his own life following much of the backlash to the Jar Jar Binks character. And whether or not we like characters in these fictional stories, I think it's very important for us to separate these from the human beings portraying them, and as much as we can do as much as we can to showcase kindness, to showcase understanding, even if things aren't always to our liking. So all in all, that is the Black Series custom Kelleran Beck. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below on this figure, and if you have any questions or any tips and tricks for attempting a project like this on your own. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to check out some of the other content on our channel, as we have other videos with pointers for customizing action figures, as well as reviews of our latest Star Wars Black Series releases.